All right. Welcome to Hollywood Purgatory. This is my YouTube channel, Jeffrey Harris. Happy May the 4th to you all. A happy May the 4th International Star Wars Day, as they call it. So May the 4th be with you. And, something new
May
I
the
wanted to
fourth be
try
with you,
today.
right? Just
So if you can see him there now, that is Chris Del Castillo of Nuke the Fridge, Nerd
how's it going,
Reactor.
guys?
Chris, thank you for joining me today. We're just, this is kind of just a new thing. We just kind of wanted to talk, shoot the breeze for a little bit, just because
Nerd
we're all.
Reactor, I haven't been in there forever. What are you
Oh, I'm
talking
sorry.
about? It's been like 2 years ago.
Nerd Report. I meant Nerd Report. I apologize. Formerly,
I was gonna say, that was like 2-3 years ago already.
yeah, formerly of Nerd Reactor, now Nerd Report and Nuke the Fridge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry
Mostly,
about that.
mostly Nuke the Fridge. Don't worry
Call
about
it
it.
I'm sorry. Call that a Freudian slip. So, we're all stuck at home right now, so I wanted to try and just talk things out, have a little bit of fun and try to put a positive spin on this whole thing.
Well, I
Um
mean,
yeah.
a good positive spin, and I'm just gonna step in is we'll be getting to phase 2 on Friday, so things are gonna lighten up a bit. So that's good. If you haven't read about that in California.
What is this phase 2 for California?
So they're saying like 4 phases, depending on like how they manage to control the whole thing. Obviously, we can't name what's happening because of YouTube will demonetize this video and everything. If you watch, man, I'm trying to remember which wrestling channel it is, but they call it the Steve Carino virus. If you've seen that one, Wrestle Talk. Yeah, that's
I
what
like that. I like that. Carino or Bud Light.
Carino virus and everything. Yeah, but anyway, so
Yeah.
phase 2 is restaurants and like restaurants will be able to open up, but obviously social distancing will still happen. Small stores will be able to open up, same thing. So things are looking to get better, which is a good thing because we've all been home for what it's been mid-March supposedly.
Yeah,
So
like it was like right after March 13th, as I recall.
yeah, so it's been like 8+ weeks, man. That's crazy.
It's weird. It
I
feels
miss
so
I
long,
miss
but it
when
really
I was my
hasn't been
friend.
that long. Yeah, I
It
mean,
hasn't. It feels like
yeah,
forever. It's like it's been
it's
two and a
weird.
half months since I last saw you in person.
Yep. But not only that, like all of our summer plans got taken away. Like, we were planning to do Comic-Con. I was supposed
E3,
to
Anime Expo.
Anime Expo, CinemaCon. I would assume it hasn't been moved or canceled yet, but Star Wars Celebration, since today is May the 4th, has
That's what,
not been
September?
canceled yet. What was that?
It's September, October, November. I forgot.
I believe it's supposed to be in August. They did release
Okay.
it. This is interesting. Since Reed Pop actually released a statement on Celebration 2020. Let's see. It seems like they're going to host a virtual convention as well, but I think it's pretty obvious that Star Wars Celebration is going to have to be canceled or postponed. But that's just to
I
give
think
you
would
an
be a
idea
good idea.
of what's going on.
I think I'm hoping by the holidays things will be a lot better. So let's hope.
Here's hoping. Here's
I'm
hoping.
not as big. I'm not as big as I'm not a big Star Wars fan as you are. I am a fan. I'm more of a casual fan, but I know you were looking forward to it. There are a lot of people looking forward to it. I'm just hoping that if it doesn't happen in August, it could happen November, December, maybe, and
Mhm.
people will still be fine with that rather than being delayed to 2021. But let's see how things work out. That's the most important part.
I want to I want to credit the people who are handling this time so well, and the people who planned it out probably better than I do. But what's been the weirdest part of this whole time period, this whole shutdown, quarantine for the Steve Carino virus?
It's just hard to say because a lot of people aren't working right now. What, 30 million unemployed, which sucks. I have friends. I have one of my writers who worked at a
Mhm.
theater, and obviously he's not working. So right now it's just so so hard. Like I've honestly had my mental moments where I'm just like, I'm fortunate enough where I'm still working right now. I do have money saved up, but it's just like I'm worried about everything. I'm worried about my friends' businesses. I'm worried about my friends' livelihoods. It's just, video games, working out a bit has been helping me out.
Good.
Maybe going out for a little bit of drive. I try just focusing on my work, just hoping the days will end faster, just so we can get to the point where we have a sense of normality. I don't know. What about you?
For me, it's just the financial uncertainty. I don't want to get too deep into it, but just there is a lot of, in terms of work related type business. There's some uncertainty right now. That's very worrying.
Have you been sharing this link? Did you share this link yet so we can get some people to come join us?
So I shared this on with other people. Well, I put it on Twitter and Facebook to kind of just get it out that we're streaming right
Well,
now.
I just want to see a bunch of people joining us.
Oh,
And
okay, okay. Well, I wanted to start.
Any comments?
None yet, but so moving on from that, here's what I wanted to start with, and I think this might be of interest to you as well. So this is official. This is not like insider scoop info. This came straight from Disney today. Academy Award winner Taika Waititi to direct and co-write a new Star Wars feature film for theatrical release. Oscar nominee Christy Wilson Cairns to co-write screenplay with Waititi. So Taika Waititi, director of Thor Ragnarok, Jojo Rabbit, also the voice of IG-11 on The Mandalorian, director of some episodes of the first season of The Mandalorian. He will be directing a new theatrical Star Wars film that he will co-write with Christy Wilson Cairns, who was the writer of 1917 and Last Night in Soho. She is also an Academy Award nominee. And so let's just unpack that. They got Taika Waititi, who's living large and in charge right now. He is red hot at the moment, and he's doing a new Star Wars movie. What do you think about that?
What's he working on right now? You should know this already.
Thor Love and Thunder. So that is his next film. So presumably I assume he would do this after Thor Love and Thunder.
I imagine they're working on the screenplay right now. If they haven't, now that he's been announced, and this is a good piece of news, what we need most right now is that happy, awesome news. And for Star Wars fans, this is great. It's something to really look forward to, because the one thing we all need right now is something to really look forward to. And this is it. Don't you agree?
I definitely agree. I think this was a good hire, and it's a guy who already has a background with Star Wars. He worked on The Mandalorian. He directed parts of season 1 of The Mandalorian, and he voiced a very beloved character in IG-11. So I feel like it makes sense, because he started with The Mandalorian and now he's moving up to a feature film, and I think it's a good step for him. And I think it's a fan-friendly choice as well, because sometimes some of the directing choices have been maybe not controversial, but there's been controversy behind the scenes for some of the recent films, right, Chris?
It's just not Star Wars, but we've gotten that with a lot of different movies. And it's kind of hard, but this is somebody that, this is a name where, because of The Mandalorian, Star Wars fans are more excited. And this is good. He knows what he's doing. That's a good part. Because there are directors, and I'm not going to name any, who want to take an established property and add their own mix to it, and it doesn't work out that well. Right. But he knows the source. He seems to be a big fan. I'm sure he's working with everybody who knows about it and is taking his experiences but working with it. And that's why I do like what he's doing. And that's why I am excited, because I was not excited for the last 2 Star Wars movies. Mandalorian, yes. The last 2, no.
I think. Do you see him bringing a similar sort of brand of energy in terms of humor, action, adventure that he brought to the Marvel Universe in Thor Ragnarok to Star Wars? Do you think it'll be a similar style, or do you think it'll be different?
I think it'll be similar, but of course he's gonna have to go a different route. But he's going to take what he's good at and
Right.
just bring that to a Star Wars universe because I don't think if it because of the Mandalorian we know he can do it. So there should be no problem with what he does in his own style. Sure, Mandalorian is a Netflix TV series, but in a sense, and he has more time to flesh out stuff. We don't know too much about the movie yet. I haven't read the whole thing, right? But did they say much about it? Of his
We
upcoming
don't know
movie?
we don't know anything about it. We just know that he's going to direct and co-write it with Christy Wilson Cairns. That's all we know. We don't know release date. We don't know the era or any of the plot or characters yet. So
Release date, I can't imagine. I imagine it's going to be what 2020, late 2021, 2022 at best.
well, no, because November 5th, 2021 was when Thor: Love and Thunder was supposed to come out, but because that was before all the shutdowns due to
Everything
the
got pushed back. Yeah.
yeah. So that will probably get pushed back. We probably won't see this until I would say 2023 or late 2022 at the earliest, because
Yeah.
he's still got to do Love and Thunder or finish that up. So, interestingly
We'll
enough,
see.
this might also be of interest to you because previously Taika Waititi was attached to direct a live action version of Akira. So I
Yep.
think Disney locked him. Basically, Disney has locked up Waititi for the foreseeable future. So don't expect him to be doing an Akira movie for at least the first half of this decade. But what do you think about that? Because now he's definitely not directing an Akira movie anytime soon.
Here's the one thing. That's not a bad thing. It sucks. Yes, I would love to see an Akira movie, but the more he does his projects for Disney, it just draws more attention to Akira down the line.
Mm-hmm,
So I'm fine with that as long as it's not 2030 at this point.
mm-hmm.
Uh,
Now, for
so
this,
I'm fine with that. I'd honestly, I'd rather see the Thor, Love,
right,
and the new Star Wars long before an Akira movie because I am an Akira
right,
fan, but I think more money will easily be made through
right.
those two, and it just draws up that notoriety of people more excited for it.
Now, do you want ideally, do you want him to do sort of a new interpretation of existing characters, or do you want to see Taika Waititi tread brand new ground, new characters, new planets, new everything, or legacy characters? What would you rather see?
I'm a mix of both. You know, having those legacy characters is nice because
Okay.
they it's what I wanted to see originally from the new Star Wars movies that didn't really work out for me. Where we have those legacy characters and they're supposed to give the rub to the new characters, and I thought it started off that way with the first movie, but then the last two movies just kind of like negated. Oh, well, the second movie more than the third negated all of that.
Right.
So it's just like the first movie, Force Awakens, I was excited for.
Me
And then
too.
I thought, okay, you know what? This could work out. You know, it's giving the legacy characters are giving these new characters, Ray and everybody, the rub they needed so they can eventually carry the movies for themselves. Second one came around, I stopped caring. Third one, I was already in that point where I didn't care. It was better than the second one, but it kind of ruined what they could have done. I hope the next one can actually just kind of fix what that because I want to see those old characters because they add that sense of nostalgia. They bring in those original fans and they can get you excited for the new fans.
Now, did you
So
watch any?
I'm
Oh,
there.
yeah. Did you watch any Mandalorian yet?
I still need to finish it, but yes, I have.
Okay. So I think the reason Mandalorian worked was in the first season, it was pretty much, for the most part, all brand new characters. There were some. They did go. I don't want to say because if you're still working on it, but it was mostly brand new characters. I don't really think there were any legacy characters in the first season,
No, there
but I
weren't.
think the
But here's the
reason.
thing, though.
Okay.
The reason it worked though is because you have more time to build up these characters.
Okay.
Where
Well,
in a 2 hour movie, you don't have that, in my opinion.
here's why I think the first season worked. All the characters were brand new, but they evoked the legacy characters. So instead of IG-88 from Empire Strikes Back, they do IG-11, who looks like IG-88, but he's a brand new character. The Mandalorian is like Boba Fett, but he's a brand new character. So it's like, okay, we have our Mandalorian bounty hunter, we have our IG unit, we have characters that look familiar, but they're new. So that way, so it's sort of like you're playing in your Star Wars toy box, but you're not encumbered by preconceived notions of what fans view for those old legacy characters, because fans are very let's say particular about how those characters are treated. So
That's a nice
there are
way to put it.
yeah, that's a nice way to put it. So like, okay, so we're not gonna anger anyone the way we're using these characters, basically, because they're not the old characters, but they look like them. So I thought that was smart for The Mandalorian. And honestly, I wouldn't be opposed to that approach for this new film, depending on
but
how it goes.
You also have the fact that you're actually able to build these characters over 30 minutes to an hour over the course of X amount of episodes. So you can actually get invested in these characters. It's a lot harder in the movie.
Actually, and there is the impression we are going to see more legacy characters for the later seasons of Mandalorian that are currently in the works, because The Mandalorian season 2 is supposed to come out later this fall. So that's one thing we can hopefully look forward to at the end of this whole kind of ordeal, is hopefully another season of The Mandalorian. So moving on from that, the second part of this announcement today. Now, this was previously reported on, but it was only officially confirmed by Lucasfilm and Disney today. Emmy-nominated writer Leslie Headland, the creator of Russian Doll, which is getting a lot of buzz right now, is developing a new untitled Star Wars series for Disney Plus. She will write, executive produce, and serve as a showrunner for the series. So on top of the Cassian Andor and K2SO series, which will be a prequel to Rogue One, we will have an Obi-Wan Kenobi miniseries set between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, starring Ewan McGregor. So now we have another new original series for Disney Plus. So what do you think of this?
I mean, that's great. How old is Ewan McGregor now?
I think he's like 48. He's not like as old as
he was in his 50s, but okay. He's 48. I mean, that's great. And
let me see.
He's
49. 49.
Okay. But we were both close. I was 50 or 48. We were off a year. That's a good thing. I honestly, I did not care for the prequels. I don't know how you were about
those. Did I? I'm in the same boat.
But this can give a chance for fans to give something to like, because now you're gonna have somebody who's, you're gonna be able to do a lot more with this now. That's just my opinion. Just focus on Obi rather than having Anakin just do whatever he wants. But now you can focus on that, his adventures, and set it between, the end of
3 and
4. Yeah. So we're good there.
So, and then we're getting Cassian Andor and K2SO with both those Diego Luna and is it Alan Tudyk? I think.
Not sure.
Yeah, Alan Tudyk so they're coming back in a Rogue One prequel series set before the events of Rogue One, and this is a third series that we're also getting. We don't know what the title is yet, what characters it will be. The rumor is it will be a female-centric series. So this isn't confirmed, but people think it could be Dr. Aphra, or it could be some brand new characters. But what would you like to see? Have you heard of Dr. Aphra? She's a character from the comics and new canon.
Like I said, I'm a casual fan. I've read some of the comics, but not all of them.
Would you prefer they use for this new show with Leslie Headland that it's new characters or some legacy characters?
Yeah.
Because we had The Mandalorian season 2 coming out this fall, and then in the coming years we're going to get Obi-Wan Kenobi and Cassian Andor and K2SO for Disney Plus.
I think Disney Plus should be new characters, because then you can establish them for later movies.
Right, because I mean they're already doing existing characters for Obi-Wan and Andor and K2SO. So maybe do new characters for this one. What else? Okay, so Ewan McGregor, I was not a big fan of the prequels, but I think fans seem to want Ewan McGregor to play Obi-Wan Kenobi again. It seems like McGregor wants to play the character again. How crazy is it? He was cast in this role 23 years ago in 1997.
Yeah, that's crazy when you think about it. We're old.
Like I
We're
remember reading
old.
about rumors when they started doing the episode one. But yeah, I mean McGregor's keeping in good shape, so I mean it seems to
That's
be a
for
good
sure.
idea. It looked I recall there were some delays, but it looks like he's still on board and they're still going to work on it. The other thing I like about the Obi-Wan series is that Deborah Chow, who directed some of my favorite episodes of The Mandalorian in the first season, she is supposed to direct I think all the episodes uh for Obi-Wan Kenobi. I don't know how many it's going to be now because I feel like I read I think they're going to go through some changes with the amount of episodes, but I think that could still be up in the air. But it seems like a good plan. Oh, so what do you think of Disney Plus right now? Do you subscribe to it yet, or are you waiting on it? What are you doing?
I'm subscribed to it.
Okay,
Honestly, I'm watching. I'm only watching a couple things right
okay,
now on it. Just watching the Marvel movies just to go back and enjoy
right,
them.
right.
I need something to do. Then I'm stuck at home when I'm not playing games all the time, and I just can't play it completely all the time. So it's either watching anime, watching some Netflix, watching some Disney Plus. I enjoy it, and I do look forward to a lot of the stuff they put. I really do wish they would put DuckTales 2017 on there. I would like to watch those.
I
Um,
agree.
but but I'm excited. Like I enjoy the content they're putting out. The fact that they're focusing on there. I'm waiting for Winter Soldier and Falcon. I'm waiting for all those
Right.
different Marvel TV shows. I'm especially
Unfortunately,
waiting for
some of those I
Wanda,
think are gonna get held up due to the whole
Blade.
shutdown thing. But I hopefully we'll get those. Hmm. I think we were supposed to get Falcon and Winter Soldier this year, but hopefully it's because they weren't done filming yet when all the
No,
production started getting shut down. So hopefully the delay wouldn't be too bad. I think they've done a good job with Disney Plus. I don't want to get too many more premium subscription services though. Disney Plus,
no.
Disney Plus is basically the last stop for me at the moment. Unless I see something like really like they're really shooting for my wallet specifically, I don't see myself getting any more subscription streaming stuff. But what about you?
Yeah, it's just too expensive, especially with everything
Right,
adding up. I mean,
right,
I don't mind dropping on Disney Plus. I don't eventually mind going back to Netflix and everything. But right now,
right.
the less the better, I guess you could say. But I know
Hmm.
it's hard because everybody wants to make the money.
Right, right.
I mean,
Everyone's
10
doing.
bucks,
Warner
10
Media
bucks,
is doing. Yeah, go ahead.
10 bucks a month isn't bad for these services. I mean, for
I
the amount of
mean,
content.
now Disney Plus, I did the Founders Circle, which I prepaid for 3 years basically, but the
Okay,
value
but
for
you got a really good deal.
the deal what it's basically came out to like less than $4 a month basically at
Yeah.
the amount I paid. So it came out to like 388 I want to say. So that I feel like okay, I'm paying it all in a one lump sum now, but I'll get it for 3 years. And like once I started seeing the footage for Mandalorian, I'm like, okay, I'm doing this. And as a fan of the classic Disney afternoon shows, I'm very happy we have all the Disney afternoon shows, every Marvel animated, all the '90s Marvel animated shows. So X Men animated
I
series.
love that we have those. I'm just not happy at some of the resolutions, especially for some of
Yeah,
the old Disney.
yeah, yeah,
They're
yeah.
fixing those. They're fixing those, and I think they might have done one or two, but also some of
Right.
the episode orders are terrible. I remember when I tried to watch Spider-Man. Oh
Mhm.
man, those episode orders are just terrible.
Yes, yeah. I'm not going to deny there are some hiccups with Disney Plus. In terms of sense, some of the jokes have been censored. Some of the transfers aren't the best transfers, aren't the best versions of the material out there. I mean, but I'm happy we have them all to stream in one place. That a lot of these shows we didn't really have before, like Darkwing
Yeah.
Duck and the classic Disney afternoon shows. So I'm glad we have that all in one place now. all the classic Marvel cartoons, and I'm hoping we will get like the new DuckTales on there eventually as
All
well.
million seasons of The Simpsons.
Yes, and hopefully I guess they technically own Futurama now too, though, don't they? I don't think they put it on there yet, though.
Is it
Um,
Futurama? I mean, is it Futurama? I mean, it's split between Fox, which is Disney now, and Comedy Central, so it's kind of hard to say.
because there were a number of seasons so maybe they don't get the Comedy Central seasons, but maybe they would get the Fox seasons. I wonder how that works.
Probably.
But
I don't
I'm
know
happy.
because I know Fox sold the rights to originally it was Cartoon Network,
Mhm.
and then the Cartoon Network Adult Swim, and then they sold the rights to Comedy Central. So it's a bit confusing.
Overall, though, I'm generally very happy with what they've done with Disney Plus. I think they've done a good job, and we're actually getting some of the Marvel anime shows that have never been available outside the US before. There's a Japanese Avengers cartoon called Future Avengers that they've put on there. I don't know if you know about this show, but but they did these kind of like sort of very youth oriented
They
Marvel
did
cartoons.
some really, really dumb anime. There
Yeah,
was
not
the
Discourse.
future one,
What was
the
that?
Discord. Discord was
Discourse is
bad.
not on there yet. That one is basically like Avengers meets like Digimon like they did a Digimon Pokemon version of Avengers in anime form,
There was
basically.
the Bishojo style Iron Man and the
Yep.
Super Bishojo style Wolverine,
Yeah,
which I
and then
tried watching. Those
there's
were
a
horrible.
Bishojo style Coulson. Like how crazy
Oh
is
god, I
that?
did not know that. I did not know that one.
Like Coulson's in the first he's not on Disney Plus yet, but he's in the first episode of Discourse. I'm like, it's crazy
Yeah,
because
that I see.
Coulson originated in the movies with Clark
Mhm.
Gregg. Like
Yep.
so how crazy is that they've made like the character has taken on sort of like a life in the Marvel universe, considering he was a movie original character. So I think that's kind of fascinating. I'm advocating that we get those Disc Wars cartoons on Disney Plus though. We have not got
That'd be
for
fun.
now we only have Future Avengers. Okay, so moving over since today is Monday night Raw day. So we
Well,
have
hold on,
Monday
hold on.
in
I want
okay,
to ask your opinion on one thing before we
okay,
jump over.
go ahead, go ahead.
What do you think about AMC and other theaters saying that they're going to not be airing Universal movies because of
Okay.
trolls
So what
success?
Chris is referring to now, basically Universal studios and some of the major theater multiplex chains are having a bit of a disagreement, bit of a
They're having a
conflict right
fit. It's a
there.
fit, okay?
What is it?
It's just simply it's a fit. That's what they're having.
So
Oh my god.
because Universal released Trolls World Tour um straight to streaming instead of in theaters,
Video
some
on
of
demand. Yeah, they did a video demand release.
yeah, so some of the theaters are not happy about that. And some theaters, including AMC, have pledged to not show Universal releases. You know, once this whole theater shutdown ends, I think it's ridiculous. It's
Yeah.
a what? How do I want to say it? I don't know if I can say this word, but It's a urinating contest. How about that? It's it's like to me,
You can say you can say P on YouTube. You're fine.
all right, it's a pissing contest. It's nothing but a pissing contest. It's a game of chicken, you know? It's kind of like they're puffing their chests up and they're acting, they're acting like this. I think that means AMC Theaters is never going to show the next Fast movie. Come on. AMC,
Yeah,
you're not going to show the
cave. They're gonna cave. They're okay. Here's my thing. Yes, these studios need to make their money too because they are still working, and we don't know when things are gonna open. Them pushing back Trolls for 3 to 8 months will hurt them, which sucks. And I know AMC struggling too because I think they're close to filing Chapter 11 bankruptcy because
A
they're
lot, a
heavily
lot
in
of,
debt.
but a lot of
A lot of them,
businesses,
yeah.
a lot of businesses, not just theaters, are struggling right now.
Yeah,
And I
but
mean, and look,
the
this is
biggest-
an unprecedented. This is an unprecedented time, Chris. We've never, in our lifetimes, we've never experienced anything like this. Nothing. Where the
yeah,
whole
this
world.
is worse than this is worse than the last. Not it wasn't even a pandemic, but the last virus that could have been
H1N1,
dangerous.
or was there one after that?
SARS.
I think SARS was before H1N1, wasn't it?
I don't remember the
Okay,
timeline, but anyway,
but
everything is crazy.
Universal said they were going to do more day and date release windows, and that also upset AMC theaters.
Here's the one thing: both these companies need each other.
Yeah,
The big picture companies and the theaters, because yes, doing a video on demand release for something like Trolls is great. It's a smart move right now because people need things to do. People have sorry, just a little bit of gas. People have kids who have nothing to do. They're stuck at home.
right.
Releasing a movie like this is a good thing. And that's, I think, what this movie made $100 million, $110 million in its first. I forgot what the timeline was, but it did really well. It did
I think
almost
it did
as
like
much.
100 mil. Let's see. I think I have the numbers here.
It was like 100 million within the first 3
The
weeks or something
animated
like
sequel,
that.
the animated sequel has made nearly 100 million after Universal decided to release the film straight to home video at $19.99 for a 48-hour rental, and this was April 28th. So basically, like, so
3
basically,
weeks, right?
yeah. So it did. But here's my thing: if you're gonna get, like, Trolls is not worth getting angry about, because the first Trolls movie, it did well, but it wasn't a huge hit. It made less than half a
It did
billion.
what 110 million in its first 3 weeks. So it made just about the same amount.
But in theater, the first movie in theaters made, I think, 346 million worldwide. Now
Yeah, but
that's
in US, I believe it was 110 million.
uh let's see.
I think that's
Trolls.
what I read. This was like a couple weeks ago. I don't remember when, but
Yeah. The sequel made like 110 million on streaming video on demand. The first
anyway,
movie, yeah. Go ahead.
the biggest difference is this isn't a movie. This is a movie, not a movie you would want to go see normally. This is a movie made for kids. So if it was something like Fast and the Furious, I can see them getting a little more upset. But even that got pushed back till next year because of everything that's going on. So it's kind of crazy.
Disney took a movie off of theaters. Do you know which one it was? Artemis Fowl. Artemis Fowl.
Okay, I wasn't paying attention.
They're putting that one, I believe, is going straight to Disney Plus. But I think that movie did not have good buzz. It basically looked like a bomb. So Artemis Fowl is going exclusively on Disney Plus starting June 12th. So that's so they're like, we're not even going to release that in theaters. We're just going to put it right on Disney Plus, basically. That movie looked like it looked DOA. It looked totally DOA. So I get, like, I think Disney that was a smart proactive move. Now Warner Brothers, Scooby Doo.
That's going straight on video on demand as well.
So why are they targeting Universal, you think, and why are they not going after Disney or Warner Brothers?
Disney, the Marvel movies, the Star Wars movies, they need those. I mean, the one thing is we know in time video on demand is going to get bigger. The age of streaming is where we're at right now. It's happening for video games and all that. Right. We still have the physical medias, which is great, but it's just, you don't have to leave your house. And right now we can't leave our house. So these companies are doing what they can right now to make the money they can because, AMC's had to furlough their employees and everything or let them go, unfortunately. Small theaters doing the same thing, where you have Universal, Fox, Warner Brothers, who people are still working. They're working. Some of them are probably working from their offices, which is heavily better protected, hopefully. And then you have people working from home. So they still have to pay those people. And obviously, they want to make money. Look at Disney. Disney, unfortunately, has to make as much money as possible right now because they're losing a lot of money on closure of like Disneyland, Disney World, and everything.
I just think
I forgot what the number I was reading, but it was like
this for what?
Go ahead.
Okay.
No, they're losing 100. I think it was like $100 million every month or something like that on the closure of the parks and everything.
That makes sense. I just don't think getting upset about Trolls World Tour. I don't think you're losing a lot by Universal putting that movie straight to VOD when we're having this unprecedented shutdown and pandemic. Not only that, I think so studios who might be doing more day and date releases, I think you would do that maybe for smaller releases and not necessarily like a Fast and Furious. So what this reminds me of is how like networks and cable or satellite providers would, they would get into a pissing contest over carrying the network on their package deals. That's kind of what this reminds me of. Do you think they'll work it out though?
It's really too. They'll work it out. They have to because they kind of need each other because that's how you get these big blockbusters. Honestly, yeah. Well, if we get, let's say, just for throw it, Doctor Strange on video on demand, it'll do well. It'll do really well, but I think it'll do way better in theaters, which because of the way these things are promoted, these ways are pushed. I can imagine Doctor Strange Multiverse doing extremely well on video on demand on Disney Plus if they sell it as a VOD or whatever, but it will do gangbanger.
I think Disney. I think for right now, Disney and Marvel will want to avoid doing a video on demand release from one of their major films because those
major films, yes.
For a Marvel, like even a lesser known Marvel film, like you're guaranteed to make over $500 million worldwide. So in theaters, so I think they're gonna hold off unless we're stuck in this for like another 6 months or a year. Who knows? I mean, knock on wood, of course, but I mean, like it's just gotten crazy. This whole thing. I didn't know it would be lasting this long. So just for example, WrestleMania is supposed to be here. WrestleMania is supposed to be here in Southern California in March.
The SoFi Stadium?
And it's SoFi at the new stadium. The governor's office put out, I think, a statement that said they're not sure if they want to allow large gatherings until mid-2021. So WrestleMania 37 is supposed to be March 2021. So that means WWE might have to start holding off or might have to start thinking of alternative plans for WrestleMania. And as that relates to theaters, we don't know like what the excuse me. You mentioned like what phase 2 earlier. We don't know what the situation is going to be like with theaters in the coming months. It could be
was phase 4, I believe.
Right. Now, if we have more waves of this virus, we could be stuck waiting to go back to the movies even longer, Chris. So I mean, it could be a long time.
They might have already found a vaccine and something to treat this. So they're saying
I hope so. I'm hoping we get some good news.
They might have that ready by June to September.
Mm-hmm.
But then the mass production will take some time. So they're saying maybe end of the year. But right now, numbers have steadily gone down because people have been following the stay-at-home rules. Now, this mostly affects bigger states like us in New York. I don't think Florida is anywhere near as high. Texas is nowhere near as high. It's just mostly California, New York. So those are the bigger ones.
Haven't the California numbers been good?
California numbers have been better.
Okay.
But I think it's the only area, and it's kind of sad to say, is the Los Angeles County is the one that has the highest reported cases, and I believe all that.
Well,
you're right outside of it. I am in LA County, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, it makes sense because it is a very densely populated area, so it's kind of not totally surprising. But what do you think happens if WWE had to basically not cancel WrestleMania?
They've already said that they're already looking at an alternate location for
That
it.
is the rumor. It's not official, but that was
They're gonna do it. After this year's WrestleMania,
right.
as enjoyable as it was, they're not gonna do that again. And I'm sure Vince is the one who doesn't want to do that again. Because
Right.
I did enjoy aspects of it. 2 days was better than having it all in
I
one
agree.
day.
Like Wrestle Kingdom. They did that 2
Yeah.
days. But that was not on a closed set, empty arena.
Yeah. And my biggest problem is how WWE's kind of doing their shows. I'm
Mhm.
not enjoying them that much compared to like AEW, who's been doing a really good job.
Yeah.
Even though their shows are pre-taped and everything, they're doing it in a good way to enjoy that. I don't know why WWE hasn't let like a couple of the wrestlers into the crowd and everything like AEW has, or just do something just to bring in a little bit of life. Because at least with AEW, they are doing the social distancing, but they're still having it. And I remember, who was I watching? I think no, I was listening to the Jim Cornette Experience, or I think it was a drive-through.
Right.
We're saying, you know who the most enjoyable people on those shows are? Billy Gunn and his son.
Yeah, because what AEW does, they have it at like QT Marshall's gym when where they're taping Dynamite right now, and they put the wrestlers.
Yeah, they're moving them back to Daly's place, I think,
Right.
starting this week.
I think you're right, but that's where they've been. But they put the wrestlers around the ring, so they don't have a live crowd, but they have the wrestlers around the ring making noise. So you still sort of have that sort of simulation of a live crowd there, and it sounds a lot better on TV when you have guys around the ring making noise and reacting to what's going on in the ring. Don't you agree?
Yep.
It
And
makes it a little more. Yeah.
you heard they're bringing JR back this week too, right?
Yeah, I heard JR's relocating to Florida and he will be calling the action again starting this week. But honestly, I've enjoyed.
I'm pretty sure he's staying over at Tony Khan's guest house or something.
Probably. I've enjoyed the Jericho commentary. Jericho's been hilarious on commentary. He's a natural on commentary.
I wonder if he's going to be doing commentary still, but I'm guessing maybe not.
Okay, so true or false, WrestleMania happens at SoFi Stadium in March 2021, WrestleMania 37.
I don't know. It's hard to say. I want to say
Okay.
yes. I would love to go, but we just don't know what's going to happen right now. It's all going to be based on what happens in these next couple of weeks to months.
Yeah. I mean, just with everything we've lost. With everything we've lost this summer, I wouldn't mind going to WrestleMania next year. But yeah, go ahead.
Everything that just happens in these next couple weeks to month. We were originally hoping by summer this thing would kind of slow down because they're saying that heat really affects this thing. So, that could be great. What happens in the fall and the winter is a different story. But if we can at least get our summer back-ish, I'd be happy right now while they work on everything like that, because there's so many companies working on trying to take care of this as quickly as possible, because I honestly need to go back out and have some fun with some friends. I have seen some of my friends partially, like we did do the social distancing and chat and everything. I dropped something off for a buddy who his system died. So I was like, hey, you need a system? Here, borrow this, play it, keep yourself busy, enjoy some games, go online, do all that stuff. But I haven't seen most of my friends. I haven't seen so many of my buddies.
Yeah.
And
we need to go out for once we can. We need to go out for okonomiyaki. How does that sound?
Okonomiyaki. Say it right.
Okonomiyaki. I'm sorry. I'm a weeaboo. What do you expect? You shouldn't expect great things from me, Chris. I'm sorry. Okonomiyaki. Okonomiyaki. Oko.
Mimi.
Yaki. So yeah, that's what I want. When I get the opportunity, that's what I want to eat next. Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, I think they're gonna have to move WrestleMania. Just if California is not going to be ready for large gatherings, I think Vince is going to want to stay ahead of the curve for next year, and at the very least, I think they'll get a backup location. But
Yeah.
like I don't know if they, oddly enough, maybe they'll move it back to Florida next year, where they were supposed to have it in Tampa at Raymond James, where they had to pull out. So that probably really hurt Vince McMahon to take it out of because they
Everything's
lost.
been hurting Vince McMahon.
Yeah,
Everything has been hurting Vince McMahon.
he's been having a bit. Vince has had a rough couple months, but I'm not. I don't
I think
now.
2020 has been rough on him.
Now it's not like I'm feeling sorry for Vince because honestly, he's brought some of it on himself, but it's because the XFL, is gone. So I think that the XFL dream is safely dead. Wouldn't you agree, Chris?
Needs to stay dead. It
Okay.
was not a bad idea. And if honestly this didn't happen, sure, things could have probably been better. But as it is, it just wasn't meant to be. And, apparently, even though they said that WWE wasn't a part of it, they proved that WWE owned, I think 20% shares into it.
Not only that, he's facing all these lawsuits over the XFL too.
I can't blame him. We honestly, the lawsuit sucks because they're far out of his control, and I think certain lawsuits should be protected under, pandemic. So it's kind of hard to see. I think a lot of things should be protected by pandemic, like rent and such, and people's livelihoods. But we'll have to wait and see because right now, just so many things are uncalled for. We don't know what's going to happen. Many of these things we didn't never imagine would happen, like you said earlier.
You heard about all the recent WWE releases and furloughs, right?
Yep.
Did any of the people who got let go, did any of them surprise you?
Zack Ryder, because he's like a tenured guy. You figured he'd be a lifer.
Right.
Honestly, let's see. Who's the referee they let go?
Mike Chioda, who'd been with the company for 30 years.
Yep. I wasn't too surprised they furloughed a lot of the agents.
Some of whom could be brought back once we're out of this.
I honestly believe all of them will come back.
Right.
Honestly, I think all of those will come back. But I was kind of more surprised that they kept Jamie Noble on, where we saw him on Raw.
Yeah.
Compared to some of the other people. But that's just me.
The two that kind of surprised me were Anderson and Gallows. And I'll tell you why. Because they were part of a stable with AJ Styles on Raw. So they had that. They were involved in WrestleMania in the Boneyard match, which got a ton of buzz. It got a ton of positive buzz for the company, considering all the craziness around WrestleMania. And they recently re-upped them to big contracts. Now, the big contract,
$750,000 or something like that.
They signed big deals. So yeah, basically I think those were the numbers that were reported. Now those numbers are probably why they let them go. But I kind of felt like, okay, those guys they're kind of well situated right now. They're gonna keep, they're on TV every week. They're gonna keep those guys on. And Sarah Logan was another person they let go. She was appearing on TV more before they cut her, so that was another one that surprised me. The other one is Drake Maverick, who is still on TV even though he was basically released, and they made it into a storyline. Isn't that crazy?
Yep.
So
I can't say I was too amazed with Drake Maverick. He hadn't been doing much. I know after he was announced that he was no longer going to be the general manager of 205, I thought something was up. But I think it's more surprising that they're still having him wrestle. Because when I originally heard that and he was supposed to be part of that cruiserweight, we obviously know he wasn't going to win. But at the same time, it's just like, why didn't you wait till after to release him?
Cain Velasquez, the former UFC heavyweight champion, got released too after he had one televised match against Brock Lesnar that went 2 minutes in Saudi Arabia, and then they cut him. Man, that one also kind of surprised me just because. Then again, I think they mainly got Cain Velasquez to keep him out of AEW and to keep him out of New Japan. So I think they don't care about.
I don't think they care about more AEW, but
Right.
they don't care if he goes to Mexico or New Japan. So I honestly doubt they care about that much.
Maybe if Cain wants to continue pro wrestling, maybe he can do that now once the Mexican promotions start going again, because he kind of he made his debut on a AAA show, and he did a lucha libre style. So it sounds like that's kind of what he would like to do, and that might be a better fit for him going forward, don't you think?
As soon as I heard what happened, I was not surprised if he'd go back to Mexico. As for going back to, we were talking about Anderson and Gallows, that one was a bit of a surprise to me, but at the same time, I'm happy for them. One, I have to imagine, how much did WWE have to pay them to let them out of their contracts? Because they were signed for 5 years, and I know there's normally this
they still get their downside guarantees. They get their downside guarantees during their
so they're still getting their money. So I'm happy for those good brothers. Then obviously they're doing their Talking Shop podcast again, which I've been listening to. So those are kind of fun, and they're hinting at going back to New Japan, and I'm cool with that because do you listen to their Talking Shop podcast?
I haven't listened to it yet, but I think they're entertaining guys because I like the whole hot Asian wife thing. They made that into a thing. I enjoy that.
You do know who their co-host is, right? For Talking Shop?
No, who is it?
Rocky Romero.
Oh, okay, that's perfect. So, and Rocky Romero, he's a top guy in New Japan right now. I'm just in terms of what he does there. He's a player.
I don't know if he's a top guy anymore, but yeah.
I mean, he's a player. He's a player over there because he does their English broadcasts now. He does a lot of their English marketing and promotion, like on social media too. So
I didn't. Honestly, I never listened to the original Talking Shop too much.
Okay,
but I was surprised to hear where Rocky lives.
Well, where does he live?
He's in LA.
Okay,
he's out here.
Oh, that's good.
So it's just really funny to listen to those guys, and obviously Carl Anderson went back to his machine gun name. So it looks like they're going.
They hinted it. I think they put out some videos hinting they might be going back to New Japan. So that might be a good fit.
But on the podcast, he calls himself Machine Gun again. So that's pretty much either hinting, AEW or they're going to New Japan. I know they didn't want to go to Japan again back too much. They were happy being able to stay home. So AEW might be a thing. Or, eventually we might get what we all wanted, New Japan, Ring of Honor, and AEW working together.
I mean,
so then they can work off their shows.
They didn't have the worst run, if you think about it. They didn't make. I mean,
they didn't make this black cut. That's the thing. They came in strong, and then WWE just didn't know what to do with it.
But they did have 2 runs with the Raw tag titles. So they had a couple tag title runs. They had a stable with AJ Styles for a little bit. So they got to be on TV. So it will help their marketability for the remainder of their careers and making money and getting gigs.
Oh, those guys will do great no matter what. Their New Japan run helped that, and the WWE thing helped out quite a bit. But it's kind of like those guys they're good. I don't even think they really have to work because they both got big houses the way they've been paid. They're smart. So those guys are good. They can work wherever they want. Go do some indies, New Japan, all that because now they have that name, that recognition.
The Young Bucks. When I look at Gallows and Anderson, I applaud the Young Bucks because they could have taken that big money WWE deal. Don't you agree? Like they could have done that, but they wanted. The Bucks wanted to control their own destiny, and let's be honest, Chris. Tag team wrestling is not a major attraction in WWE, and it's just not going to be.
Oh no, honestly, you thought they'd do something when the Bucks announced AEW. Looks like they were putting more focus on it. Then they brought back uh, the Hardy Boys, and you
Right.
thought, okay, things could happen. And now, yeah, no,
But,
I don't believe
but
WWE for anything.
interestingly enough, the Revival, they got
The
out of
revolt,
WWE.
is that right? The revolt.
Now they're the Revolt, formerly the Revival. They got out of WWE before the Max Exodus and before they started letting people go. So I wonder, do you think the Revival should have waited it out, should have waited their contracts out, or do you think they made the right move to
They
become
made
the
the right
Revolt?
move.
Okay.
One, they already passed their downside guarantee, so they weren't going to make any money regardless.
Mm-hmm.
And two, getting out the better because everybody else still has 90 days on top of that. And honestly, they know what's going to happen because I'm pretty sure they're already signed with AEW. They just haven't officially announced it because they want to make a big impact and probably when they have crowds again, bring them in, which is smart. But look at a lot of the people that are released right now. We don't know what's going to happen with them. They don't know what's going to happen to themselves right now. So at least with the Revolt leaving earlier, they already had their plan set in motion, and then obviously this happened.
I think, I don't know if it'll happen this year, but I think we are going to see. I think we are within the next year. We are going to see the Revolt versus the Young Bucks. Do you, true or false?
We'll get that probably in the next 6 months. Honestly,
Okay.
even let's say things don't get better, which
Mm-hmm.
I want to believe it will.
Yeah.
They're not going to wait that long because this is a program that will get people excited. They want the fans to go crazy because when um
they had the FTR on being the elite. They meant so
yep.
they're already hyping it up.
But here's the thing. So when they brought in Matt
Yeah.
Hardy and Brody Lee, I was
Yeah.
about to call him Luke Harper. When they brought in Brody Lee, those would have been two huge pops. Those would have just gotten everybody excited in the fans just getting all crazy. But they couldn't. But they didn't want to wait too much longer with what they had planned.
Right.
Obviously, if they didn't bring in Brody Lee, the Exalted One story would have just gotten horribly stale. Because I'm not a big fan of the Dark Order myself. I'm hoping with this they can get better, and I kind of wish they'd kind of lay off the Vince McMahon stuff.
I think
Do it every once in a while.
I agree. I think the first, like when he said "out of touch, old man," that was fine. But then they did the kind of the restaurant thing with the eating the steak. I like in the sneezing. That was a bit much. Don't you agree? I think they went.
If they spread these things out, it can
Okay.
work. But I want to see Brody Lee go back to how he was in the independent scene, and he's doing that in the ring. The guy
Right.
is fantastic for size. But if they want to do this Vince McMahon story, spread it out a lot more. Just kind of like
I think he's a
build up
great
the
promo. They never let him talk in WWE, and I think it.
Oh
I
no,
think
because he couldn't do that Southern accent.
right. So
But
since
wrestler.
so just real quick, since we're just a few minutes away from the start of Raw, so here's what we have going on for Raw tonight. We have Drew McIntyre versus Murphy, the Street Profits versus the Viking Raiders. Excuse me, the Carpool Karaoke Viking Experience, and last chance gauntlet match for Money in the Bank.
Who's in the match? Who's in that match? I haven't seen.
I don't think we know yet, but the rumor is AJ Styles is going to return tonight, and everyone thinks AJ Styles is going to win that match, basically. So,
Okay,
what do you think of?
If it wasn't AJ, it was probably going to be Jinder.
Okay.
Since they randomly brought him back, I think honestly AJ doesn't need to put himself into that match, but obviously this corporate in the bank has already been filmed, so we'll wait and see. Honestly,
Okay,
though,
so here's who we think's going to be in the. It'll probably be MVP, Austin Theory, and Murphy. Aleister Black and Rey Mysterio
but Murphy's already facing
okay, so
champion.
he's so never mind. So Murphy is facing Drew McIntyre tonight. So it'll probably be AJ Styles and Apollo Crews is out of the match now. So that's what we're looking at. So okay. Do you like this Raw lineup?
I'm okay with it right now. they should work with what they have. There's a lot of people who don't want to go to work just to be safe, and that's fine because of family and everything.
Mhm.
As long as they can make it entertaining, that's all that matters to me. AJ Styles, I love watching AJ. I've been watching AJ since early TNA,
Yeah.
Ring of Honor, New Japan, all that stuff. So I like the joke is he can have him and Kenny Omega can have matches with a broomstick and make it look entertaining.
I think Murphy is really underrated. I'm looking forward to his match with Drew
Not your
McIntyre.
buddy. He's not your buddy Murphy.
He's not my buddy. He's not my buddy, pal. He's Murphy. Viking. I got to be honest. The Viking Raiders are dead to me after that car. Did you see that carpool karaoke thing with the Viking Raiders?
It was hilarious.
Okay.
And remember, they're not the Viking Raiders; they're the Viking. The Viking Experience.
Yeah. So you like the carpool karaoke?
I miss War Machine. Okay.
I loved War Machine, but the carpool karaoke was one of the worst things. But you liked it.
You
were okay.
Yeah, they have to look like tough guys, but when you're stuck on the road, have some fun. And if WWE wants to record it, that's perfectly fine because you're showing a different side of these guys. We are not in the Jim Cornette era of the 60s to the 80s and everything, where you have to build everybody up to look like a monster to get all that stuff. They're people too, and if they're stuck on the road having to drive from state to state, whatever, let them show off how funny they can be because they made Anderson and Gallows look out to be nerd hating jokers, but if you ever watch them doing their comedy skits, they're hilarious.
Now, should they have okay, what was that?
And I like them, like honestly. Good Brothers, I'm a huge fan of them, both inside the ring and out.
Now, should they have waited for their match with Viking Raiders for Money in the Bank, or do you think it's okay they're doing like, I guess, a non-title match tonight?
That's fine. I think they're putting a lot of effort and emphasis on the corporate match because you heard they're letting the men and the women out at the same exact time, right?
Yeah. So
So I'm waiting to see how this final deletion style corporate ladder match is going to work.
I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be partly. I think it's going to be. Do you think it'll be cinematic like Firefly Funhouse in the Boneyard at WrestleMania? It'll be a more cinematic style.
From what I heard, it took them almost a day to film this whole thing. So yes, because it's just going to be like they're going to be shooting at different people in different rooms. Probably like somebody run into a Vince. You'll have two people fighting Vince's room or something, looking for like the secret elevator or escalator or something. And then people fighting in the kitchen and all that stuff. And they're going to be cutting into like different shots because you're going to have men in one area, women in the other. So it's just going to be this hour or so of them going back and forth, climbing.
However, I heard it could last for the whole event. Like you could be checking in with them throughout the event, basically. And then maybe they finally maybe they all finally get to the roof by the close to the end or midway through the show. I don't know. I guess we're gonna find out.
What other matches are happening other than Seth and Drew?
So we have Tamina versus Bayley for the women's SmackDown Women's title. Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins for the WWE Championship. And what else? I think it's going to be Bray Wyatt, The Fiend versus Braun.
Yeah. So 4 matches on the card. That's not a bad thing. I honestly think it's hard to say. We'll see what WWE does because this again is unprecedented, and they're actually doing it in the WWE offices. So that should be interesting. Hopefully, they add a fair amount of humor into this just to make it kind of fun. In the ladder in the Money in the Bank match, corporate in the bank, whatever you want to call it.
I'm curious. I think in this situation, do something different. You might as well because I mean, we're in such a weird time. I guess what I'm trying to say is now is the time to experiment. Now's a good time to experiment and try different things because since you don't have a crowd, you lose a lot of you you lose a lot without having a crowd. So you might as well experiment and do wacky stuff. Now is the time to do that because it's so weird without having a live crowd right now, you know?
Pretty much. All right, since we actually can do this right now,
Okay.
let us name. Actually, hold on. Okay, so there's actually 6 matches on the card.
Okay, here we go. Go ahead.
So there's the women's Money in the Bank.
Right.
Okay, so we're gonna call who wins, right? So
Let's predictions.
So let's do that. So we're gonna have the women's Money in the Bank, which is Asuka, Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax, Dana Brooke, Lacey Evans, and Carmella. Who are you going for that one?
Shayna Baszler with a bullet.
Yeah, I'm going with that one too, unfortunately.
Honestly, I love you. You and I know you love Asuka. I love Asuka. I think it's gonna be Shayna. That's my pick.
Yeah, honestly, I kind of wish that Lacey Evans was out and Sasha Banks was in, so we could have had that match.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the best friend kind of thing, but that's not gonna happen. But I'm honestly sadly going with Shayna. I like Shayna, but we had that match at WrestleMania, and we don't need it again.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they're gonna end up facing. It's kind of hard to say because I don't want to see Shayna versus Becky again. Then we have the men's, which right now is Daniel Bryan, Rey Mysterio, Aleister Black, King Corbin, Otis, and whoever's going to be announced. So TBD.
I'm picking the TBD, and my prediction is AJ Styles. Because I think Drew McIntyre is going to retain the title at this event, and I think they're going to put Drew McIntyre in there with Styles to kind of give Drew McIntyre like a good wrestler to work with and put Drew McIntyre over and make him look good. That's what I think the plan is.
I'm going to say just because of AJ losing a Taker, it's not going to be AJ, so they can build him back up again.
Okay.
I'm going to say probably that TBD is probably going to be Jinder Mahal, and then it's going to end up being Daniel Bryan who takes it, and then so that way we can kind of have the same thing you were saying, but with Daniel Bryan.
Here's the other. I could also see King Corbin. Winning it. Oh, but do you? Okay, so do you foresee the winner of these matches cashing in and winning their titles, or do you think they're gonna do it fair and square or something?
If it's Shayna Baszler winning, she's going to take advantage. So no. If it's Daniel Bryan who wins, he will straight up face him. King Corbin, I imagine, would take the chance. I don't foresee Otis ever winning this as much as I like him, but he would probably be somebody who challenges somebody. If it's Jinder Mahal, or if it's like, let's say TBD's my choice, Jinder Mahal, who I'm not saying is going to win the Money in the Bank, he would try to cheat, obviously, because he just wants to get the title back. But I don't want to see it on Corbin or Mahal.
Okay, Bayley versus Tamina. How did this happen? I mean, nothing against Tamina, but I was sort of surprised they put her in a title program, you know?
Same. It's going to be Bayley.
Yeah,
Tamina,
I agree.
I honestly don't know how she shot up, but all the women who are working right now are in the Money in the Bank. That's why. The only other person I could see being Sasha Banks, but that's not going to happen. Then we got.
Hope they turn Sasha face eventually and have her go after Bayley. That's what I want to see down the line.
That's why I was surprised she wasn't in the Money in the Bank.
Okay.
We didn't need Lacey Evans. I'm sorry, I don't like Lacey Evans. She's still too good. And we don't need the dangerous Nia Jax.
Okay, so Drew McIntyre versus the Monday Night Messiah, Seth Rollins.
Drew. Too early for him to lose it.
I agree. Okay, so and finally the Universal title match.
There's still 2 more matches.
So
got Braun. We got Braun versus. I mean, this is not in order, but we got Braun versus Bray.
Okay.
I kind of want to see Bray win it, but I think they're going to keep it on Braun.
Right.
Well, actually, no. If it's the Fiend, I think the Fiend will win. They haven't really showed the Fiend though with the Braun Storm.
Goldberg beat the Fiend. Remember, Goldberg beat the Fiend in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I'm not even counting that.
So we have seen the Fiend lose. So it's
we have seen the Fiend lose, but that was due to Goldberg. WWE trying to. Yeah, that's Goldberg but that's them trying to make like Roman look like the insanely strong one.
Mm-hmm.
But that
I
unfortunately,
would have been fine. I would have been fine if it was Roman Reigns. That's just how disgusted I am with that Saudi Arabia Goldberg situation. And I'm Jewish.
yeah,
I'm rooting against the Jewish wrestler, Chris. That's kind of how disenfranchised I am with this whole situation.
I don't know. I don't think Goldberg should have ever won that match in the first place,
Yeah.
and he ended up being the one who pushed for himself to win because he wanted to make himself look good for the kids. And I never cared for Goldberg. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
so is this going to be a course correction where Wyatt wins, and then they wait for the dust to clear for Roman Reigns to come back and put the Fiend against Roman Reigns this time?
Which what they should have done in the first place? Sure.
Yes, basically.
But I honestly don't know if they're. I mean, I'm kind of interested to see if they'll make Braun that transitional champion, or have they finally just been like, okay, this is the monster we need, blah blah blah. The Fiend is a character who will draw regardless, even if we murdered him at Saudi Arabia. I want to say Bray / the Fiend, and that's probably what I'm gonna stick.
I mean, Braun kind of already is the transitional. I mean, they only made him champion because of what happened with Roman Reigns.
Yeah,
Because
but
the Miz showed up to taping sick.
Yeah.
Okay, so there any other matches we're missing for this card yet? Is there one more?
New Day versus Miz and Morrison versus Forgotten Sons versus Lucha House Party.
Okay, so Lucha House Party, of course. I think the Forgotten Sons are going to win. We'll see. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Forgotten Sons. There you go.
Only because they won this week, I'm going to probably say it's going to be the New Day retaining.
Okay. That also wouldn't surprise me. And I'm going to go ahead and pick Bray Wyatt. Yeah, I'm going to pick Bray Wyatt. Maybe I'm going out on a limb there, so I'm going to pick Forgotten Sons and Bray Wyatt for their title matches. So is that all for Money in the Bank?
Yep, those 6 matches. We both got Shayna. I got Bray. You got TBD, which you're saying is AJ, right?
Yes, that's correct. That's what I'm going to go with. And
Bailey.
Both
got Bray. Both got Bailey. Both got Drew. And then I've got the New Day, and you've got Forgotten?
Forgotten Sons. There you go. Okay, so
the only matches that's really going to affect us in this contest is men's Money in the Bank and a tag team. Other than that, it's going to about.
I wonder if they're going to get Charlotte on there because she's been working through this whole thing, even though she's been on NXT. Do you think they'll try to squeeze her on there?
No, Charlotte. I think. Well, remember they already filmed this. I think if we've already got an hour and a half long, freaking a Money in the Bank, men and women's, and we got 4 other matches, probably not going to happen. Which is fine because.
Do you think they're going to wreck? Right? Do you think they're going to wreck Vince McMahon's office during the show? Like they're going to fight through Vince. I wonder, like if they're going to go in, like I don't know, maybe they're going to find like a boiler room and like maybe Mick Foley will be in there. That'd be funny. I wonder if we'll see any cameos.
No.
Okay.
So they try to control it too much.
Okay, so preview for AEW Dynamite. Here's what's on tap for Wednesday night on TNT. AEW Dynamite it's going to be a live show, a live broadcast this week. So Jon Moxley will be facing Kazarian in a non-title match. MJF, who is badly hurt right now. The badly hurt MJF will be returning. Yeah, the hangnail. And then there's going to be a street fight with Kenny Omega and Matt Hardy teaming up against Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara. So we'll have we're going to have a live Dynamite. JR will be back on commentary this week. So one more. Cody versus Joey Janela. So now they're building up Double or Nothing. We know we're getting Cody versus Lance Archer for the TNT title at Double or Nothing. So now we're kind of focused on that, and they're going to be building up that card. I don't know what they're going to do for Double or Nothing, honestly, and where it's going to be. It was supposed to be in Vegas, but I don't think it's going to be there anymore. It'll probably be in. I don't know. We were at the first. What was that?
It's probably going to be in Daly's place. It's going to be filmed like they're doing this show.
I think you're right. They haven't announced it yet. We were at the first Double or Nothing. So how did you like that last year?
It was fun. We did get. I mean, I had nosebleed seats. I know you had much better seats.
Yeah.
I had fun at the show. We did what's
Starcast?
Yeah, we did Starcast. I think it was what's Conrad Thompson's event. We did Starcast, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was fun. Then we did the show, and that was kind of fun. The only thing that sucked was that horrible ass line. How long did it take you to get in? How long did it take you to get in?
I went in through the side entrance, through the press entrance, and it did not take me there was a line. So I kind of lucked out because yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Your line was nothing like mine. I told you the story what happened to me, right?
Yeah, you were stuck out there. They didn't let you in until much later. Right?
Yeah, so I ended up at Starcast, I ended up being a part of a questionnaire session. So that lasted maybe about an hour, but it paid like about $100. So I ended up deciding, okay, you know what? I have tickets for the show. I'll do the Q&A. I mean, not the Q&A, but the fan survey right before the show, and then I can just jump right in. I was like, okay, you know what? There'll be a line. It won't be that bad. They should start letting people in. So by the time we got out, I was maybe a 3-minute walk from the entrance. Nope. By the time I got out, the line was out of the front of the MGM Grand arena. I had to go all the way outside, past the pool, into the main street, around the MGM Grand.
It was like a Comic-Con. It was like waiting in line at Comic-Con, huh?
Pretty much. I think I was like across, like on the other side of where Hooters Hotel is. So it took us, man, I think I lined up. I ended up getting out there maybe 30 minutes before. Damn it! What was the name of the opening show? It was the Battle Royale, but
the buy-in
Battle Royale, the card. So I ended up getting in, man, about halfway through it.
Well, I mean, at least you made it. So, but
yeah.
So Double or Nothing, I think you're right. They're probably going to have it in Daly's place, since they're not going to be able to go to Vegas this year. We know we're getting Cody versus Lance Archer, and I imagine in the next couple of weeks we'll see the rest of the card start to fill out. But I will say I like how this whole kind of quarantine thing in wrestling. We're still getting wrestling during this whole period. It's weird. I totally acknowledge it. It's weird. That said, I think AEW has done a good job with how they presented their product, with having the way they have the hard cam set up facing the entrance and having the guys around the ring. I think they were kind of ahead of the curve by doing it that way,
And they're having more fun with it. That's the good thing. It's just like, if you take things too serious like WWE has, it kind of takes away from what you can do. Mm-hmm. And they're doing the cinematic, they're doing the final deletion style, which honestly, Vince hated at the beginning, but he's having to do now because that's the best they can do. And it worked with the Boneyard match, and I did enjoy it with Cena versus Wyatt, as weird as that was. That thing was weird as hell.
Do you think Matt Hardy is going to do a deletion thing with Jericho at Double or Nothing?
Yeah. On the Hardy compound? Yeah.
Maybe Jericho. I like that Jericho's basically been feuding with Vanguard 1. That's probably been my favorite feud during this whole quarantine is Jericho and Vanguard 1. Like, did you see the hot tub thing with Jericho in the hot tub talking to Vanguard?
You're still wearing his shorts, yeah.
Oh my God, that was hysterical. So I mean, this has been such a rough period. So I gotta give I give these guys props that they're still going out there and entertaining us through this whole thing. So
What do you think of the
got
bubbly bunch?
the what?
The bubbly bunch, the segments Jericho's doing with everybody else.
Those were great, and I think Jericho mainly handled all those, didn't he?
Yeah,
Those were
I
good.
think
Those were
Jericho's the
good.
main one. That.
Jericho's been great through this whole thing, I have to say. And I recently got to interview Jericho, but it was only for Dark Side of the Ring, and we could only talk about Dark Side of the Ring during. Oh, I asked him about John Moxley, but he kind of no sold it. But I understand that.
But what I do enjoy is you did Jericho, you did JR recently, which was
Yeah,
really cool.
JR.
So
I've done
if
some
people are
MLW
familiar,
guys.
I'm gonna plug you right now. Wait, shut up. I'm plugging
Oh
you.
yeah.
If you guys have not heard it, Hollywood Purgatory right there, Jeffrey Harris is what? It's a 411 Mania, a 411
Wrestling Interviews podcast is the official title.
He's done Jericho for the Dark Side of the Ring, which was on the not Jericho, the Chris Benoit, right?
Chris Benoit, yeah.
It was on the Chris Benoit. You see, he's the host for multiple episodes, was it, or just for that one episode? Do you know?
For every episode after the Benoit one.
Yeah, so he's the host of that, which is cool. So if you guys haven't seen that, then he did JR. What did you talk about with JR?
His new book, basically. His career and his
Under
new
the
book.
Black Hat.
Under the Black Hat,
which is the second part of his first book, which he finished in 2013, which unfortunately
Slobber Knocker was his first book.
Because I remember I did listen to Jericho's podcast where he had JR, which I think it was released last week, where he talks a bit about that. And obviously, go check out Jeffrey's interviews with that, because I want to see this guy get more interviews with more wrestlers. What wrestlers have you actually had the chance to talk with?
So I had one. I actually just had one with Dominic Guarini from MLW, and before that, Logan Creed with ML. So I'm getting MLW has been great, and been able to interview with some of those cats. Last year. I interviewed Vince Russo, the famous and AEW's
bro.
Yep. Exactly. I interviewed Billy Gunn, WWE Hall of Famer Billy Gunn, right after he signed with AEW and got inducted into the Hall of Fame. So you can listen all those, huh?
Don't you mean Kip?
He's going by Billy Gunn now. So yeah, I got him.
What a surprise, yeah.
So all those are archived, and you can listen to those on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and 411 Mania YouTube right now if you look for those. So I think we've pretty much covered. Is there anything else you wanted to throw in for today, Chris? I think we can.
I think about an hour and a half is good.
I agree. Yeah. I think I think we might do this again sometime. I had a lot of fun doing this. So today was
because if we want to build our audience,
we didn't
really get any people this time, but hopefully they'll see, want to come in and then chat with us, have some fun. So we need to do this pretty often.
I would definitely like to. So if anyone has any feedback for things you'd like us to talk about more, this is the Hollywood Purgatory YouTube channel. My name is Jeffrey Harris. You can check me out on Twitter at Wheeljack83. I write reviews, interviews, and articles for 411mania.com. And my podcast, my wrestling podcast, is the 411 Wrestling Interviews podcast, as Chris mentioned earlier. It is on Apple Podcasts. It is on Google Play. It is on Spotify. And you can listen to it on YouTube through the 411mania.com YouTube channel. Chris, the floor is yours.
All right. Well, I am just I just noticed that you put your mic on mute. I was like, wait, what happened to you? So you can find me on, don't worry about it. I was just like, wait, something's happened. You can find me. I'm Chris Del Castillo. I'm from, like he said much earlier, nukethefridge.com, Nuke the Fridge Gaming. I handle video game reviews, wrestling fan, TV fan. I do a lot of different things, tech reviews. You can find me on social media at Nuke the Chris. I should change it because right now I'm at NTF Chris, but Nuke the Chris, you can find me all that. You can find our interviews and all that stuff on Nuke the Fridge Gaming on their YouTube. And yeah, if you could find me, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I think we should start doing wrestling reviews soon, don't you think?
Yeah, maybe once maybe like later in the week on Friday we can recap the week in wrestling. You know, because
Let's aim for
we have a
Saturday
whole week
because I do work on Fridays.
or
Yeah,
Saturday.
let's do Saturday because I'm working. The only day I got off was today just because I
We
needed a
both
hand.
have a good hand. We both have a pretty good handle on the wrestling industry and kind of know what's up. So yeah, I agree. So everyone, I hope everyone's staying safe. Please stay indoors. Follow the orders so we can break the curve and we can hopefully get out of this soon. Everyone, please be safe. I hope you're doing well. Don't get too crazy, and I hope just hang in there. That's the best I can say right now for you as well, Chris, buddy. Thank you so much for joining me today, and everyone, may the 4th be with you on May the 4th. Happy Star Wars Day. Thank you.